There's something I've been saying in my mice videos for years now, and I truly stand behind, and this video really solidifies that. And my main goal here is to hopefully help you out and give you a better experience whenever you're gaming and swapping between games. And that is that you should always have at least two different mice on your desk. I don't mean just two of the same mice or two similar mice like a Final Mouse and a Razer Viper or something. Two different mice. And in this video, I'm going to show you two of the best ergo and ambi combinations to keep on your desk. And I mean, they never leave my desk. And that's going to be the Pulsar X2H and the Pulsar X-Lite V3. I have the ES version here, but this goes for any of the Pulsar XH or X-Lite V3. Over here, I have the new Razer Viper V3 Pro. Oh my gosh, this mouse is so good. And then of course, the Razer Death Adder V3, which golly, this mouse is a dream as well. So as you're seeing here, we got our ambi, our smaller mice, our lower profile mice, and then our big ergo. But stick to this video and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here on how these are going to be beneficial for multiple situations. So first off, let me go on and give you a measurement of my hand. I just got the rulers going across here so you can measure wherever you want. If you want it up there or up towards the knuckles a little bit more, you can again measure it from that so you see what I'm talking about from my hand shape to these mice. So now that you had a look at the measurement of my hand, I want to give you a raw measurement of these mice here. Again, looking at the humps, the lengths, the grip widths and everything, not just the numbers pasted on the manufacturer's website page. Those are just numbers, right? I'm going to show you those actual points throughout it. So anyways, let's go on and fire this up and we'll start with the X2H here. Getting with that length. Oh, let me get it here. Okay, we got to go a little bit further. We are going to get that length of the X2H, rear to the front. Now let's go on and get the X-Lite V3, rear to front. Now for the Viper V3 Pro, there is that, trying to get it right on that back bit there. And now for the Death Adder V3 Pro, as far as that length. Now, I think the next biggest difference is going to be, let me make sure we're set back to 0, is going to be that hump. Now, the X2H does have a little bit more hump than some other ambi mice, but I think this is a very versatile mice. If you look right here in the middle, I'm going to go right from the sensor. So from the sensor, this is our height, but the true hump on the X2H, we're looking at the ES, is going to be back by that screen. So looking at that hump right back there, you can see that. Now coming over to the X-Lite V3, mid-grip hump, which is pretty much primarily right where that hump is on this mouse. You can see right through the buttons in the sensor. So you can see a little bit more of a hump there. Now coming over to the Death Adder V3 Pro, again, that hump is going to be predominantly right in the middle of the buttons there. And you can see that hump. Now coming over to the big guy, the Death Adder V3 Pro. This one is definitely plump for sure. You can see that. Now let's go on and get that grip width. I'm going to go right from the middle here, right by the button. So not at the top of this or the bottom, right in the middle, where I think a lot of us will just be truly gripping these mice. There's the Death Adder. Now coming over to the Viper here. You can see just a little bit more slender, not much at all. Now coming over to the X-Lite V3, and this one's kind of interesting. So we can be right there, which is what I think the grip width is, but it does flare out a good bit in the back right there. This is definitely more palmish. Coming over here to the X2H, we are getting 59 grams. And the last measurement I want to give you is that rear hump flare out back there. So this is the tail end, right where it flares out in the back on the X2H. Now on the X-Lite V3. That rear flare out. Hopefully you guys can see this in the camera. I've been working on my lighting. I'm not very good with lighting, but I'm trying. So just give me that feedback in the comments. Anyways, the Viper V3 Pro, and now over to the Death Adder V3 Pro, right where it flares out in the back end. So after looking at those raw measurements, you can see they're not significantly different, right? So you're still going to get that core experience of the feel of that mouse. So if you're like, nah, I'm primarily ergo, well, it's not drastically different. So it's not like you're going a bigger mouse to a tiny mouse. You all know I don't like that at all. So again, you feel right at home. You can just play around with them a little bit more, which we'll talk about. But before we talk about that, the test that I think that'll help you out the best here is going to be the infrared, which you're going to get the heat signature of, again, my hand-shaped grip in these mice. So warming up my hand a little bit here, I'll go ahead and get the Viper V3 Pro in my hand, how I would usually hold it. I play a lot of Destiny and some X-Defiant lately. I'm not a good FPS player anymore, you know, but mainly Destiny and a little bit of X-Defiant. So anyways, getting my heat signature transferred over to this mouse, I'll put it underneath the camera, and I'm gonna take my hand off. So you can see I'm definitely up on my 1 and 2 right there. As far as the rear hump, it's just touching a little bit on the side there and a little bit back there. And I definitely got it over here on my thumb. Now, the cool thing about this mouse is it is a little bit longer, as you saw. So if I, get a little fatigued, I can pull my hand and just set it down in there. It just kind of rests on the back of that hump, but it is definitely one you can move around a bit. But again, if you want to rest your hand on, that's the cool thing about the new Viper. It's not as low profile as the old one, so you can take it and rest your hand on it. And as you see, it really fills out the back of the palm, but you do feel your wrist, again, being a little bit more streamlined. Now let's go over here to the Death Adder, get some more of that heat on my hand. And with the Death Adder V3 Pro, wow, just instantly getting this in my hand, I got a little bit more of an arch in my wrist, and it feels just like the Viper, right? The Viper V3 Pro, kind of streamlined, but pumped up a little bit. So when I got my hand transferred over onto this, let me go and take it off. Hopefully I got enough heat. Wow, just look at that. Look at my pointer finger, bam, all the way to the back, and it's filling out the back of that hump. So you can just see it's like a glove, right? So you see it on the side, and then right up here it's going up towards my pinky, and then right to that ring finger, and then right over here you got that hump, bam, over there. So when you put this in your hand, again, the majority of the time it's pretty much sitting in your palm. The good thing is it's not crazy like the old Death Adder that used to swoop out a whole bunch, so you can still move it around and kind of flick and dip it. The curves or the bulge on the sides are not incredibly drastic, so you can still dance around with it, but this is a big guy. When you get in your hand, it's primarily a palm grip mouse. Anyways, let's go on and get over here to the Pulsar mice, and let's get that heat going again. You know what? Let me start with the X-Lite since we just came off the Death Adder, so we got that ergo to ergo, and this is kind of interesting. Again, coming off that one, with this being an ergo mouse, you're going to think primarily palm, but when I dance around with this mouse and play with it, you're going to see this heat signature is quite interesting. Let's make sure it's transferred, get my hand off, and take a look at that, right? So you're seeing my fingers definitely flow a whole lot more coming up over here, but look at that back hump. Not so much in the back hump. Getting a little bit of touch over there because you do have that flare out, but again, not nearly as much as the Death Adder on the back end. But look how much it flows. Look at my palm here and flowing into the, oh, we're freezing. If we can get that palm there and then right into that finger. So what's happening with this mouse is since it flows out a whole lot more, you can see it bulging out, definitely Zowie EC, flares out here and over there. So my fingers definitely flow with this mouse a whole lot more. Just check that out. I mean, you can clear as day see it. My thumb groove locks in there, comes out to that palm. Pinky rolls right around that. And the majority of the time I hold it like this, where it's out of my palm. When over on the Death Adder, it's pretty much in my hand, right? Like a glove, like I stated. Now, the cool thing about the Pulsar one is you can pull it in the back of your palm, but with it being a little bit shorter, whenever I try to put it in my palm here, it definitely feels. You might want to go with the X-Lite. This is size 2, the medium one. Is it size 3? That's the large one. Again, that one's too big for me, and then the small one's too small. I really like the size 2. This is what I recommend. It's definitely a little more safe. But anyways, you can get like this on this mouse as well. Let me go on and release my hand, and just look at it right there. So this is when I put it into a palm. You can see all of my fingers are just flowing. Right? There's no gap in between the heat to the fingers. It's just flowing. And that's what's so nice about this. It feels so nice. But again, it is a little bit shorter. So if you got a massive hand, bigger than mine, definitely go with the size 3. But if you got that average hand, I really think, the size 2 is perfect. If you got a tiny hand, of course, size 1. Anyways, X2H, again, size 2 over here. Let's get some heat going. And then I'm going to get my hand on this mouse. Oh, man, I just love this mouse. I really do. The X2H is, whew. Ever since it came out, I've always had a version or another on my desk. I just love it. So let's get this heat transferred on this guy. I want to make sure we get a good signature here. Then releasing my hand and take a look at this, right? So my fingers are flowing just like we saw on the X-Lite. And look at that palm right there. So you're still getting that X-Lite vibe where it's kind of flowing through, but not much on the palm. It's just all just kind of flowing through right there, right on the back. But the cool thing is it just kind of ramps up. So look at it right here. It's like the X-Lite as you saw over here, but the hump just kind of drops off. It comes up and you can really play around with this. You can pull it in the front of your hands just like this, or in the back of your hands, and that bulbous or that bulbous bump right in the back, that hump will just sit in the back of your palm. It's a really interesting shape and quite different. Even though they both got a significant hump, again, really different type of shape. So now we had the measurement of my hand, the measurements of the mice, and then those heat signatures. And I talked a little bit about that while we were doing the heat signatures, but I want to kind of solidify that and really speak on it a bit more. So let's talk about the Death Adder first. This is a mouse I have used for so long, from the original Death Adder to now the V3 Pro. This is one of the newer versions here with the flat coating. I'm thinking about doing a very long-term review about this mouse, because you remember I had issues with the previous ones. Anyways, talking about this one, which is much better. But if you want that long-term review, let me know down in the comments. Anyways, I'm getting off subject here. So talking about the Death Adder, when I play Destiny, man, this mouse is just comfortable. I can play for hours. It's sitting in my hand. I can just move it around. Destiny's a little bit slower paced. If I'm playing PvE, I don't play much PvP in there. But again, just dancing this around and just swiping it to my shots, being able to hold them, it is pristine. It is such a great mouse, but I would definitely class this as that slower type of play style. Again, Destiny or a story game type of thing, you know? If I tried to use this in X-Defiant or FPS competitive type, again, I felt it too slow because I automatically pull this mouse into my hand. Again, you can pull it out and dance it over, but I don't know if it's just habit. I just want to put the whole mouse in my hand, and that's pretty much what I use this for. So when I came over to the new Viper V3, it's like, all right, this is cool because it almost puts me in that grip to flick and dip it a little bit more, to dance it a little bit more freely. And when I played X-Defiant, this is what I went to. I really enjoyed using this, but I did catch myself, again, being primarily an ergo fan, I catch myself getting cramps over here because, again, I don't got that bump or that hump back there to really rest my hand on. But if I wanted to do that faster gameplay, I definitely played better with this and felt better. I can get my shots a whole lot more quicker and move it around when that one would slow me down a little bit. So you're talking combo 1 and 2, ambi and ergo, you're seeing that difference, slower and faster. You kind of get the same thing over here with the pulsar, but a little bit different because, again, these mice are slightly smaller than the two razers. But taking a pulsar, again, using this, playing a lot of Destiny, oh man, you all know I'm a Zowie fan. The Zowie EC has been a prime, and that's exactly what this is here. And you get that. And again, with this being a little bit shorter, it's not really filling out my entire hand like the Death Adder. So I can get a combination of both of these with this X-Lite. I can palm it. It gets very comfortable. My hands are going to rest on it, but still slightly slower. I'm going to put this as medium. It's not like slow like the Death Adder or fast like the Viper. I can put it right here in the middle and kind of play around with it. Now coming over here to the X2H, this one's quite interesting because it's not as streamlined as, say, the Viper or a traditional ambi. You might be thinking the X2V2, if I'm thinking right. That's a little bit more streamlined, and you could do that. You could go pull the X-Lite and then the X2V2. That might be a little bit better for you, but me, I do prefer humps, and again, the X2H is something very special, and I can really play fast with it because I can flip it around, right? Flick and dip it, really pull it into my palm, lock it back there with that hump, and again, play a variety of styles, whether I want to play really fast or lock it in and really control my shots. Kind of similar to the X-Lite V3. Now moving on from shape and dimensions and feel in the hand, I want to show you the weight difference, because when you talk about an ergo mouse, a lot of people right off the bat, they're gonna be like, oh man, it's too heavy, it's ridiculous. But it's really not that drastically different. So getting the Razer Death Adder V3 Pro on a scale, you can see we're getting 62 grams right there. Now the Viper, we are getting 55, so not too much far off right there. Now getting, again, these are the ES versions, so these ones are a little bit heavier than the standard. We're getting 66 grams, and then the X2H, we are getting right at 64 grams. So as you're seeing, there's really not that much difference in the weight going from a ambi to an ergo. I did that opposite. So if you stuck to this video, I hope you can catch my vibe right here on why this is so beneficial and something I've always stated you should do. And definitely these combos are the 1-2 punch. These are the ones I love and never ever leave my desk currently. This is what I absolutely love. Again, playing Destiny, I love that ergo mouse. I love that slower play, and it's comfortable because I can sit there for hours. FPS, where you're kind of playing, you're taking a break, playing a game, a quick round, you know, that's where a smaller mouse can really come into play. Number one, you're playing quicker, but also you're on and off that mouse. When Destiny, you're constantly going with like a story game, you know. And this is hands down the 1-2 punch right here. These are 4 mice that stay on my desk. I just don't take them off my desk. I absolutely love these. But trust me, you need one of each on your desk because they're going to be beneficial in multiple situations, multiple games, working or play or whatever. Trust me and try this, and let me know what you think down in the comments. So I really hope this video was able to help you out one way or another. You're able to take just a little bit out of it, hopefully. And if you were, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Bye now.